to my channel Welshman Reviews. Today I am reviewing The Tomorrow War, which was directed by Chris McKay, also starring Chris Pratt, Yvonne Strahovski, J.K. Simmons and Betty Gilpin. So my overall thoughts to begin with is I kind of think this is a typical middle of the road action sci-fi movie. It's got a nice original story, but the rest, the initial story, but everything around it as well just seems like it's been taken from other movies. It always reminds me of other movies. It reminds me of The Edge of Tomorrow, The Thing, The Great Wall, Alien, A Quiet Place, and there's one scene towards the end that reminded me of a scene towards the end of the movie Evolution with David Duchovny, Julianne Moore and Sean William Scott, who plays Stifler in American Pie. So yeah, kind of not put me out to the movie, but when you're watching the movie it's like, I've seen this before, this reminds me of this reminds me of that. I like to say it's a homage, but you do have little bits and all. I mean, most of the movie is something you've seen and probably seen better in another movie. You know, it kind of pisses you off a bit, to be honest. And it was the same with Army of the Dead. I watched that movie and it was a good movie overall. I'd probably class it the same as this, to be honest. But that was another one of scenes taken from other movies, mashed together, thrown into a film and all that. And I really think original ideas are going dead. And don't get me wrong, there are some cracking movies out there with original ideas, but they just don't do well at the box office, unfortunately. But that's my little nag about that, my little thing for that. So I will go on to the good and bad of this movie. So my good is the acting. Don't get me wrong, the acting overall in this movie was really good. There's some characters in there who are really good actors, and unfortunately for Chris Pratt, they're a level above him in acting. But he does well in the action scenes and all that, but I think the rest of the characters outshine him, to be honest, especially the little kid, who I can't remember her name. I can't. But she is really good. She's only in it for a little bit, but she is really good. She's a good little actress, she is. And but yeah, the other actors in there just seem to be a little level above his acting. CGI was really good in this movie. Not as good as Godzilla vs Kong this year. That was really up there, but it's not that far away from it. I thought the action, the CGI action in it and all that, and especially the design of the creatures looked really good. There was like a scene in the beginning, like when you first see one of the monsters close up, I actually thought it was a more of a practical effect, to be honest, than the CGI. Not for the tail he has, that's obviously CGI, but the face and all that, it looked practical. So I might look into that, see if it was practical and all that. But no, very good. It's a 2 hour and 20 minute movie, but it doesn't feel like a 2 hour and 20 minute movie. The film kind of flows pretty good, kind of jumps to point pretty quick and all that. It is, but that's a bit of a good, but also I've got a little thing about in my bad, which I will get to soon. But yeah, but it goes at a brisk pace. Doesn't feel like a 2 hour and 20 minute movie. It doesn't, so that's a nice little plus. You don't want a movie like this, which is an action piece and all that, really dragging and all that. But also, I'm probably going to contradict myself when I go into the bad of what I thought. Direction was pretty good. It is, for a guy, I think this is his first, Chris McKay's first live action movie, like feature length movie. But because he's directed Lego movies, so that's how he's got Chris Pratt into this. But yeah, he's done a good job. I thought the action scenes were pretty good. He directed them pretty good and all that, and scenes, nothing spectacular, but I think he's done a really good job for that. I won't put this in the bad. These two into the bad. Kind of like a middle between the good and the bad. So I think they underutilized a lot of the characters in it. You had, obviously, you have the main star Chris Pratt, and then you have the commander Romeo, which is Von Strahovski's character. So they're the main ones when you get to the future, so you concentrate on them. But they have pretty good side characters. Get their names up here. Sam Richardson, who's the comedy relief, which I'm going to go into the bad of that. Not for him, he was good, but the comedy part, I'm going to go into the bad. And then you had, is it Jasmine Matthews? Yeah, Jasmine Matthews, who is the lieutenant who comes back. If you've seen the trailer, she's the one talking in the stadium and all that. You don't see her that much. You see her a bit in the beginning, a little bit in the beginning and all that, and then at the end and all that, which is really sad, to be honest, because she seemed pretty good. And then you have Edwin Hodge, who plays Dorian, who is a veteran of the Future War, not by doing 3 tours. And then he has a nice little backstory and all that, and he has a little stuff, but they don't delve into that enough either. They don't, which I'm not going to spoil. This is a non-spoiler review overall, but yeah, you utilise some of these characters and all that. It is, which is a shame, to be honest, because some of them look like really good characters. They could have been really good characters in this movie and all that. But it is what it is. And another one for the middle of the road is, unfortunately, Chris Pratt. I thought he was good in most of it, the action scenes and all that, but like I said, the other characters and the actors are, I think, a notch up, a level above him in acting, especially with their more of the emotional scenes. He does okay, but I think he was wrong for the role, personally. Just my take on it. Most of you might think differently and all that, because he is a good actor, he's good at things, but he kind of acts like he does in all his movies. So this guy kind of just reminded me of Star-Lord, or his character he plays in Jurassic World, to be honest, and that. So yeah, it's pretty much a shame. So we're going to go on to the bad now, and as I said before, they had a good original idea, but then they put all the unoriginal stuff around them. So you have the usual tropes during the movie, especially they meet characters during the movie, and you know for a fact they say something, especially a kid in the beginning who likes volcanoes, that comes back right at the end of the movie. And then this other guy who knows something, he comes back, and then you have his father, J.K. Simmons, who's a guy who doesn't like the government, so he's under the radar of the government and works off the books and all that, and so they need him for something and all that. And so yeah, it all comes back into the end, and they have a nice little story with him as well, how J.K. Simmons' character abandoned Chris Pratt's family when they were younger and all that. And you have that little inkling during the movie and all that about Chris Pratt's character as well, which goes a little bit deeper when you get into the future and all that. I wish they could have expanded on that, but as I said, I was going to compliment this in this movie thing. It could have been I think it could have benefited of being a series, because you could have kind of delved into some of them aspects of the movie and all that, like the abandonment and stuff like that, and then some of the backstory of the other characters and expanded on them a little bit. But yeah, I think it could have might come out as a series one day. Who knows? It depends how well this does. I'd like to see there's like maybe a 10-episode series, like 45 minutes an episode or an hour an episode. Really delve into it and all that. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame that some of this movie just felt too quick. They resolved things too quick, and they did. But I wish they could have delved into it a little bit more. As I said, the comedy, what's his name again? Sorry, Sam Richardson's character. He gets all pretty much the comedy in this movie and all that. And I kind of liked him in the beginning because he was nervous. He was going to the future and all that. But then it kind of expands throughout the rest of the movie sometimes and all that. And he gets a nice little redemption towards the end because I'm not going to say because I'll kind of spoil the movie, to be honest, if I did. But he gets a nice little redemption towards the end and all that. So does J.K. Simmons' character, actually. But yeah, it's a bit too much comedy. It reminded me a bit like these movies, like Independence Day and stuff like that. It reminded me of, but oh well, it is what it is, unfortunately, and didn't take me too much out of the movie, but yeah, he bit too much comedy in it, and also I was really disappointed with the ending. I thought they could have done something really good with the ending and all that, but you have to have your little action thing or thing for the end and all that, and yeah, I bit poor it was and all that, but I can't. I wish I could explain it, but it's going to be this is a non-spoiler review after all. But it's your usual, they got to go it alone because nobody will help them type of situation. Let's say that it is. So that's my review. That's my thoughts on this movie. I'll give it the same as I gave Army of the Dead, 5.56 out of 10. You know, your average and all that. I'll probably watch it again someday. And all, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but you know, it was alright. It was pretty good action movie and all that. And like I said, hopefully they make a series out of it, to be honest, and I would look forward if they did that. And it is. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below what you thought of the movie, if you've seen it or if you're going to see it. And if you'd like to see more videos, I guess, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. Bye.